Hey, what to do, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Hood Scout podcast. Today we got another guest. Went down south of D-Town to get them. Coach, tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Darren Garrigan. Everybody just call me Coach DG in the profession. And I'm originally from Virginia, the Woodbridge area. And I played my college ball at two different schools, Lackawanna Junior College in Pennsylvania, and then actually I got my Texas ties at West Texas A&M. So I've kind of that's where the Texas roots started, and kind of I've been in one, two, three different universities now in Texas. So that's just kind of where my feet got kind of wet at, kind of going through that process.
So talk to me about, how was it growing up? You're from that East Coast. Talk to me about, growing up. How was that situation like? And then what was your kind of introduction into sports or into ball, period?
Yeah, I mean, I come from a real simple background. My mom is one of actually 10, but I'm the only child. With that being said, there's probably a lot of pressure on me just because it's just myself. Just kind of raising a, a normal childhood, just a normal background, was always active in sports and just been kind of big into it, play football, play basketball, ran track, just kind of like your typical, I guess you can say, jock.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just did that growing up, and then I played. And then, like I was telling some other people, I thought I was a really good football player. My dream was to be in the NFL. Well, clearly that fell short by a lot because I was just a very average football player. And I just kind of stumbled on coaching. It wasn't a thing where I knew I was going to do, or I was grooming to do it, or just thinking about it. So I kind of just stumbled on somebody that I know, one of my earlier mentors, and he just said, "Man, just come on and help the kids out, just see what's going on." And I didn't really have much going on. I just got done playing arena football, so I was just like, "All right, come on, let's go out." And then that's where the love and the passion and just dealing with kids and that's where it started at really. And I did high school for 2 years, and then I ended up going to college because that's what I wanted to do. And now my next goal, hopefully, if I get blessed, I want to be in the NFL one day. But for the most part, I just kind of stumbled on coaching.
So, what position did you play, Coach?
Defensive back, the same position I'm playing. That's the same position I'm coaching. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
just kind of to have that background in. I'm a defensive guy, so that's just kind of my history and my background, and I enjoy it. I know everybody loves offense and scoring a bunch of points, but I take pride in actually trying to stop them from scoring.
And see, I like to chop it up. We'll lead up to now in the college jobs or whatnot. But so you played in high school, and then from high school you played. Where did you play when you transitioned from high school?
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't have the grades coming out of school.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really big into academics back then.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just play straight football. So, like I said, I went to Lackawanna College and
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania.
How was that?
Oh, it was great, to be honest with you. It was a tough experience. Junior college is not built for everybody. Their head coach is Mark Duda, who's still there. He's one of my coaching mentors, just one of my mentors in general. He played in the league a long time ago. He's tough on guys, and like I said, junior college is not built for everybody. I mean, they were cutting dudes left and right by the day if you miss one meeting or you miss one workout. So that's kind of where I guess you can say I kind of got more toughness from, and just kind of the mental makeup. And then after I got done getting my associate's degree, and that's when I got my scholarship to West Texas A&M. But when I got there, they were 0-10, so they weren't any good at all. Division II program, but they gave me a full scholarship, so I just went where the money went, and they gave me so. And then we were really good there. We were. I don't know how many wins we had in 2 years, but we won back-to-back conference championships. So I was kind of in and out the lineup the whole time. The 2 years I started, rode the bench, started again, rode the bench, started, rode the bench. So I was kind of one of those players that like I did things right, but one of the coaches just probably didn't think I was that good either, I guess. So
Yeah.
kind of in and out the lineup.
Now, was it a big culture shock, a big difference coming from, like I said, the East Coast, then coming to Texas?
Yeah, I would say the main culture shock was probably the music, just kind
Okay.
of the background of it. I mean, like East Coast rap, East Coast is a little bit different than down south. I mean, my best friend is Lester Johnson. He coaches in high school, and he's a big Zero fan, a big Trey fan. So the music styles, for the most part, are huge. Is a big difference. As far as like just everybody says things are bigger in Texas, food, but I wouldn't say it was a full blown culture shock because football is football at the end of the day. But there definitely was a little bit of a difference how people talk, the slang, and little things like that. But I'm kind of used to. I've been around different people, different cultures, so it's not nothing new to me. But it definitely was different, especially music wise.
What's one thing looking back? What's one thing from West Texas A&M that kind of stuck with you? One nugget or one thing you may have learned during that time?
Oof, that's a good question because I haven't really never been asked that question. What did I learn in college? I would say what I learned from college is, and I know it might sound a little weird, but you kind of learn who your true friends are because when you leave college, sometimes you don't keep up with those guys. Same thing goes to
Ooh,
high school. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
one that I keep up with now, it just goes to show back when we were in college or in high school, they were true, genuine friends. And I
yeah.
still have those guys now in my life. We're in group chat, stuff like that. So I would say just to cherish the people that were really down for you at the time, and then you still talk to them to this day.
And then you get out of college. What was that transition like? Well, no, before that, you played arena ball. Talk a little bit about that. How was that experience?
So I got done playing in '06.
Mm-hmm.
I was training for the league in '07. Clearly, I didn't get picked up. So then I got the opportunity to play arena football. It was in Huntsville, Alabama, but the team was called Tennessee Valley Vipers. So I played there in '08. I got on kind of like halfway through the season. It was Arena 2 at the time because it was Arena 1 and it was Arena 2. So I played Arena 2, trying to get to Arena 1 at that time when you could make good money and play in the spring, kind of what the XFL and kind of what the USFL does now. It's the same type of league. It was a spring league. So I
Now,
played there.
which league was the Dallas Desperados in, Coach?
Oof. It's a good question. I want to say Arena 2 or it could be the one.
Okay,
I mean, there's so many.
okay. I remember them though. I remember them back then.
There's so many different arena leagues. I mean, there was one in Amarillo when we was at West Texas. I played half the season in '08. We actually ended up winning the Super Bowl in arena football in Arena 2. Like it was the Arena Bowl, but we won it in '08. I didn't leave with my college degree in '06 when I got done playing. I did, and I went to school in '07, but I didn't really go to class. I wasn't really doing nothing. So it kind of set me back a little bit. So after the '08 season, I went back to West Texas in '09 and got my bachelor's degree in psychology for that whole year.
Wow.
That was probably one of my biggest achievements in my life because when you're out of school, it's hard to go back into school. It's very tough. So I went back to school in '09, got the degree, and then I still wanted to play football. So then I went back to go play for it was the Tennessee Valley Vipers, but they changed their name finally just to Alabama Vipers. So I went back to the same team at the beginning of the season, and I don't know what game it was. It might have been game like 3 or 4. I kind of just gave up the hope and just kind of like retired mid-season. I just knew I wasn't. I just knew I kind of lost the love
Yeah.
and I was playing but not playing. So it was just kind of weird. And I probably saw the writing on the walls. What the kids say, like I saw the writing on the wall that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't going to elevate. I wasn't going to go higher. So I just kind of I kind of just retired mid-season. It was a mutual with the head coach. Hey man, we're just going to go our separate ways. So I went home. My mom was actually a manager at Olive Garden at the time. So she just got me a job just a little bit, just working. And that's when I stumbled on that coach when he came in for like lunch and we just kind of chopped it up. Then coaching career started.
Now, Coach, how tough was that transition period? Because I know. I mean, I'm just thinking about myself, like, and I didn't play college ball, nothing like that. But I know a lot of times it's what am I gonna do, and then you kind of plus I need money. How was that transition for you? Like, did you just know something was gonna pop, or you were just like, man, I'm just work to something else come about?
To be honest with you, I was winging it. So I didn't really have a plan.
Yeah,
Uh, I didn't really, I was just working. I was the host at Olive Garden. I was just working. Like, honestly, I don't know. The thing that's crazy, me and my mom got a great relationship. When I went back after I retired, she made me pay rent when I went back. So I was just working, paying rent. I was paying like half the rent. I was paying something for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I was a grown adult. I might have been 23, 24 at the time. I don't even know how old I was, but no, I had zero plan. I had
Yeah.
no idea what I wanted to do. I probably deep down inside wanted to play still.
Okay.
But I just knew that it wasn't my calling anymore. So no, I did not have a plan. I had no clue what I wanted to do, wanted to be. Um, that probably sounds terrible to say, but I really had no plan what I was going to do. And then when I got on with the coaching staff, I was a teacher too. So I was just doing that typical teaching type style. I was going in the classroom, got practice at the end. So yeah, I had no plan.
So talk a little bit about that. So you finally you say you meet your coach and mentor, and that leads to coaching. So you was a coach as well as a teacher.
Yep, I did both. Just like how it is in Texas, it wasn't as big.
Okay.
The school I was at was Freedom High School. It wasn't a good program. It was more of an up and coming program. It was 3A back in Virginia. That's the highest ball out
Okay,
there.
wow.
Um, and I was just kind of, wake up. I mean, it was like a normal, I guess you can say 7 to 4, 7 to 5.
Mhm.
I coached track.
Okay.
Um, I don't know, man. I was just kind of going through it, to be honest with you. Then I was doing a lot of college camps. So I
Okay.
would go to camps, and
Mhm.
that's kind of how I got my name. And that's how I got even hungrier to like, man, I can do it. I can coach at this level, man. I can coach in college. And I did like a billion camps. I used to go to Nick Saban camps all the time back when it was like a 3-day camp.
Where was
And,
this at, Coach?
huh?
Where was this at?
Alabama, like
Oh,
Nick Saban,
Alabama. Okay. Okay.
these college camps, but it used to be like 3 days and you would stay overnight in the dorms. And then I would just do these camps. And then I was just like, man, I want to get into college. This is what I want to do. And then I just reached out to somebody that I knew that was at East Central University. He coached me back in West Texas. I sent him an email, blank, just email like, hey, I want to get into coaching. And then boom, he hired me. And a nugget that I didn't even really say to a lot of people is that I used to work with Dion. So he used to run these little truth camps, like these little kids. He would coach them. And I did an internship with Deion Sanders all summer 2012, right before I went to East Central. So I was with Deion, Kevin Mathis, who played in the league. I did that all summer. Then I went to go to East Central and coach. So I got kind of once I got into it, the ball was rolling and I was just working it. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Um, there was a question I had that kind of slipped my mind now. Oh, why did you want to go college versus staying in high school? I'm sure either college or the NFL is some guys' dream. And some guys say they just want to coach in high school.
Yep.
What was it about you that made you say, I got to go to another level?
I wanted to coach a little bit of an older kid.
Okay.
I didn't not that it's not because I'm eventually probably going to end up going back to high school at some point in time in my career. I just wanted to coach a older kid that his next goal was to be in the NFL. So that was my goal. But I think when you get in this profession, everybody wants to go higher and higher and higher. I mean, that's kind of like standard protocol. So I would say my next step is I want to coach the best of the best at the highest level. But I do think my impact at this level means more to the kids, the coaches. So that's where I'm not tussling, but that's kind of where my heart is with the kids, and I can make more of an impact to people that are trying to make it. In the league, those guys have already made it and they're making their money, so the impact is a little bit different. So it just depends, it varies, but I do think my impact in college means more than it does in the NFL.
So when you got that college opportunity, where'd you say that college opportunity came for you?
At East Central University is Division II program in Ada, Oklahoma.
Ada, Oklahoma. Okay, now how was that? I mean, that shouldn't have been too much of a culture shock going from when you was at West Texas and then going into Oklahoma. But how was that? What did you learn? And what are some
Uh,
memories that you remember from that?
what I remember from that is that I was getting my master's at the same time I was a coach and I was a GA. I remember waking up at pretty much 4 in the morning every day, and it was with a guy, Justin Deason, who's the one who hired me. He's one of my mentors in the game. He's hired me at 3 different locations. And then he had a good friend of him by the name of Jeff Waters. That's another mentor of mine. So my game into what I learned from there was just to kind of work and put your head down, and it doesn't matter what you did or what you think you can do. You just got to put your head down and work. I was going to school, working every day, doing all the grunt work. And it was a pretty good program when I was there, but that's how I really got my feet wet and said, man, I can do this. I can be at this college level and I can coach these kids up. But it was tough just because I had to do everything because you have less coaches and you have to do more. Sometimes even in high school, you have less coaches. You got to do more. I think that's you just got to kind of get used to it. You gotta hold many hats is what they say. So that's what I did. I just learned how to work and learn how to sit back and just learn, but also at the same time work.
Now, Coach, how did you kind of develop this? I don't know if I say love, but you getting you getting your degrees versus at one time you said school was kind of like what you were really into it. Like what changed for you?
What changed for me is when I was growing up, and I didn't say this on the other ones, like I'm dyslexic, so I had a learning disability my whole life. And I've always taken pride of proving people wrong because it was one of those deals where I wasn't supposed to pass middle school. My mom's probably gonna write a book 20 years from now about my story in high school and middle school. Like, I wasn't supposed to pass middle school. They said I couldn't pass high school. They said I couldn't get a college degree. They said I couldn't go to college and play. So I think I just realized if I want to do these things, I had to take school seriously. And I'm not the smartest person in the world by far. I'm not even close. But I was installed at an early age, and where my mom, where the tree she comes from, my grandma is just working hard. So I think what turned it up is like, man, if I want to do these things, I have to work hard. And, I might not be the smartest in the room, but I'll be the hardest working person in the room. Or I'm just going to put in the time and effort. So I just think when I realized as I got older that you realize you have to have education. So now I'm preaching education because if I can get my degree, I got 3 college degrees. If I can get a college degree, I know the kids that I'm coaching, they can do it because they're smarter than me. So that was I just knew I had to get it done, and I take pride in it. I didn't want to embarrass my mom. I wanted to make her happy and get my degree. I mean, she's probably more proud of that than all the other things. But I just wanted to prove people wrong. I mean, I wanted to let them know that I can do it, and I just worked hard at it.
Now, and I'm kind of pivoting back a little bit. But why psychology though?
I was a business major. I standard football player. Like, I'm just going to do business, which it meant nothing. I didn't want to really do it. I just kind of realized, like, I was like, man, I want to work with people. I want to know why people act the way they do. I like how would I word, like, relationships. I like to find out why that person acts like that. Well, if they got in trouble, where they're doing success, like, why are they having success? Why are they all in trouble? So I always wanted to just work with people when I was in college. And then when I was taking my classes, I kind of enjoyed it because it wasn't more like, hey, man, you have to write down this thing. You have to know this equation. It was more like, we have to know this formula. It's more like, interacting with people. And that's all we do. That's what my profession is now. Like, I'm coaching football. I'm dealing with kids. That's dealing with people. It's not a normal accounting job where you're dealing with numbers. So I think I switched over because I wanted to work with people. And again, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I said I wanted to be a counselor, but you got to go to school for like 20 years, and I can't do that.
No,
But
real talk.
yeah.
Go ahead, go. Okay, 17 minutes in the Hood Scout podcast, talking to Coach DG. So, Coach, what was some of that grunt work that you have to do as a D2? We talk about wearing those many hats. What does that really look like, if you can put it in layman's terms?
You have to do all the scout stuff. You have to do all the breakdowns. You have to do all the cards. Really, you're doing everything that all the other coaches at one point in time did. It's more like you have to do, you might have to do some equipment room stuff. You might have to do, like I said, some passing cards. You might have to do some breakdowns on film. You're going to have to check study hall. You're going to have to check classes. I mean, you're going to have to do like really every little thing that most people don't want to do. So I just think I learned that grunt work, and then you have to get up maybe early. Depends on who you work for, but you just gotta have to kind of be a fly on the wall a little bit. But at the same time, as much as you're a fly on the wall and you're doing all this work, you have to coach a position at the same time. As the GA at the Division II level, you are the full-time position coach. So I was a full-time DB coach, and I had to do all the other grunt work, and I had to be able to recruit kids, get them to go to a Division II program. I had to learn football. I had to coach them, and I had to get them going, and they had to perform at a good level, or the GA gets fired. So I think you just the hats that you hang, and that's why I take pride in coaches that coach at Division II, FCS, junior college, even high school, because you have to do so much more than some of the higher guys at the higher level, because you have to do the grunt work and you have to perform at your position at a high level.
Now, how do you said something interesting, Coach, in recruiting? Is there a different method of recruiting to a D2? Is that harder, or is it a certain type of pitch you got to have?
Yeah, I think there's definitely different levels of recruiting. I think at the end of the day, if you're at the biggest school and you have the most money, I think it's easy to recruit. I think it's easier. You still have to deal with the NOI deals and all that stuff that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the best weight room, if you have the most money at the university, if you have the biggest football offices, I mean, you don't really have to sell anything because they have the best of the best. So I think the Division II coaches or the FCS coaches, that's why you see a lot of coaches, even like Willie Fritz at Tulane, and he just hired a guy named Lance, who's a good friend of mine, who just was at Marshall. Now he's at Tulane. Is that a lot of those guys have success because they had to win with so much less, or they had to win with lesser stuff that other people got. So they just know how to operate, and they know what it works. And then now when they get to their higher levels, they have more success because now they have more things to sell. So there's definitely a difference of recruiting. Division II can only give you a half scholarship. FCSs, they give full scholarship, but some of them give you partial. So yes, there's definitely different levels of recruiting for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. 20 minutes in. So what was that? What was that next step when you left there, Coach?
So the same guy that hired me at East Central got a job at Texas A&M Commerce, another bad program when he first got there.
Mm-hmm.
So he left in 13. So I was with another defensive coordinator in 13. He left to go there in 13. He hired me in 2014 to be his DB coach, secondary coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he hired me again for the second time. The same guy, same defense, same system, and we were there for 4 years, and we won 3 conference championships in a row. We won the national championship in 2017. So we were there, we built it, and it was the same type of steps we took at East Central, and it was my first full-time job at A&M Commerce, and I was getting paid $20,000, and I was so happy to get that.
Yeah,
yeah, and we had a lot of success there. We had guys in the NFL. It was the best Division II program, probably even FCS program at one point in time from 14 to 17. We were really good.
Let me stop you, Coach. How do you balance not making a lot, but loving what you do? How do you balance that?
I think when people love what they do, the money's going to come eventually. And what I mean by that is, like, they're not looking for the next paycheck, or they're not worried about what they have to do with the money they're going to get. They just know it's eventually going to come. And then when it gets there, they just handle the business. It's just like, it's not their prime motivation. I mean, I know you probably know people. I know people that make a lot of money, but they ain't too happy. And when I realized as I gotten older and older and older, like, you want to be able to make an impact in the world, because at some point in time, we all going to be gone.
Yeah.
You want to be remembered for you making a lot of money, but ain't doing much with it? Or do you want to be remembered where maybe you didn't get paid the most, but you made the most impact on people? So I think you can juggle it when you really love doing something. If you're just working a 9 to 5 and you don't love it, then yeah, money's going to be a stressor for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you can always get by even when you're not getting paid that much if you really love it, because you're still doing something and it never feels like work.
Yeah, yeah. So, so you were there, Coach. How was you learning at that time, Coach?
How was I learning?
Yeah, kind of like, what was your methods of kind of getting better in the profession at that time?
I was doing a lot of studying, doing a lot of self-study, watching film, just kind of reaching out to people, trying to get some information. But in my opinion, the best experience that you can gain is through your failures. So I failed a lot through my whole career, from playing to coaching, and maybe you recruit the wrong kid, and then he falls on you. So I did a lot of reaching out and learning, and still in this process of still learning. That's the beauty of coaching. You're always evolving. You're always trying to get better. But I do think the best experience is through your own failures, and sometimes even your own success. So I take a lot of the things now and what happened back then to me, and what worked and what didn't work, and then I use that for my future experience or my future knowledge. So self experience and your own failures is probably the best way, to be honest with you.
What's something that you take with you from Texas A&M Commerce, Coach?
Oof, that's a good one. Dang, you hit me with the good questions every time I leave a program. What I left from there is that if you have a lot of people on the same page that have the same vision and the same goals, you can win and you can make it work. Because I still have friends that were there. One guy's coaching with the Packers. The other guy just was DC at school in Oklahoma. Now he's back to high school. So I just think what I learned from there is, if you can get everybody on the same page with the same vision and the same goals, and then you install that in the kids, you can win. Doesn't matter what you think, you can win. That's probably what I took from that when we left.
Where does talent play in there?
Oh, we had a lot of talent now.
Okay.
But it goes back to the same coaches, the same vision, the same goals, and we all wanted the same thing. And we were hard workers. So we ended up getting some talent. But yeah, the talent level was elite when I was there. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, man. 24 minutes in. Okay. Then what was that next job shift after that?
So it's gonna be a theme. The same guy that hired me defensive coordinator at M Commerce got a job at Incarnate Word in 2018. Another bad program when we got there. He hired me to be his corners coach because they already had a safeties coach who's now at SMU, a good friend of mine, Ricky Hunley. Um, so he got hired there. He brought me on, and it was the same mindset, the same goal as it was at Commerce, same vision, same goals as it was at East Central. Hardworking, same vision, and started in the kids. And we won faster than everybody thought. So we won a championship in 2018 when nobody thought we could do it, and we won it in 18, the first year we were there. So if you think about it, that's 5 championships in a row that I've been a part of in a row. 3 conferences, 1 natty. That's 3 plus 1 is 4, and then we won another one in 18. That's 5.
Yeah.
So and we went to the playoffs for the first time in like school history. They only played football for 10 years, I think, in 2018. Then we kind of stumbled a little bit in 2019. 2020, we didn't play. 2021, we win 10 games, the most wins in school history, go to the second round of the playoffs. Again, the success with the same people, good staff, good coaches. We did have some good players, hardworking, and we just grinded it out. Then, boom, we won again. We won 2 championships in 4 years when I was there.
Yeah. Coach, how important, I didn't say how important, I don't know why I said that. Is it always the norm to kind of follow that guy who hired you, or do some guys do it a little bit different?
If you have a good relationship with the person that gets another job, yes, I would say I can't say that's the standard, but I would say that's the norm, or is a higher percent chance. So yes, if you have great relationships with people, and you see it all the time when coaches leave at the high school, college, NFL ranks, they normally bring the people that they know they can trust and they know that they can do the job. So I think that is huge. So yeah, in my experience, I've been with a guy that loves me for who I am, and I learned that in this profession, not a lot of people love you for who you are. They want you to be somebody different.
Yeah.
So the guy that hired me 3 different times when we're talking, he accepted me for me. He didn't care about the outside noise about, DG does this, DJ does this, DG looks like this, or whatever the case may be. He just believed in me and trusted me, and he accepted me for me. And that's what I try to do now with the players that I have or I recruit. I try to accept them for who they are and try to groom. I mean, not groom them, but try to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing when I hire coaches, I hire guys at UIW. I accept them for who they are. Doesn't matter if they have flaws. Everybody has flaws, but I accept them for who they were or who they are.
That, you just said something, and I like it. When you hired him, what did you look for?
You know, and I talked to one of my buddies today that I hired. So the 4 guys that I hired at Incarnate Word, my defensive coordinator said we need some more help. DG, can you hire some guys? And I said, yeah, I love taking pride in putting people on or helping people out. So the 4 guys that I hired, I knew 2 of the 4 really well, and the other 2 I just kind of knew through social media. So the first one was a guy named Haywood. He was he was a recruiting coordinator at Angleton High School. Had a good relationship with him. I thought he did a good job, so I knew he was going to do good. It was a relationship a little bit, and I knew he could get the job done. Hired him. Now he's working over at North Texas UNT, and he off the field. He's doing like some admission stuff. Great guy.
Yeah.
Then I hired another guy by the name of Scotty Yates, who I worked with at A&M Commerce with that staff that we talked about, same goal, same vision. I wanted to bring him on because he was coaching high school and he wanted to get into college. I trusted him, accepted him for who he is, and still a great friend of mine. And then another guy by the name of George Sanders, I kind of met him through like Twitter. And I said, hey, man, can you come in for an interview? And then what I saw from him was a hard worker. He loved to learn and he wanted to be good. So I'll get to the story. When I left UIW, he actually just got the DB job at Incarnate Word in my same role when I left the program.
Yeah.
But he's a great kid. He's a young buck in the game, but he's getting older, and I love him, and I hired him. And then the last one is I kind of knew him through junior college, a guy named Coach Greg, who's now the corners coach at Texas State. And he's a good recruiter. I knew about him. I knew what he can do, so I brought him in, and then I knew he can get the job done. So I accepted him for who he is. And it's the same way. I saw myself in Greg. He was wired up. I'm blunt, I'm direct, I'm very honest, I'm very open, and so is him. So is he. And now he's at Texas State with great success. So I actually take more pride in helping guys out or hiring guys or just putting guys on and they have success. And some of those guys are higher than me.
Yeah.
Uh, and I love that. That means I'm on the right kid or I'm on the right coach or whatever the case may be. But all those guys have success, and I take pride in that. So, but I accepted them. The whole mindset what we were just talking about is I accepted them for who they are. I didn't try to change them. I didn't tell them you got to be this way, you got to be that way. So I think I take pride in that for my own self, and because I saw somebody who hired me based on the same thing.
Yeah. Kind of a different type of question, Coach. How different were all you've been at 4 or 5 different schools? How different was the actual campus of these schools as far as what the colleges have to offer? Was it a lot different crowds, different type of feel, or is it just college is college?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. College is college. The
Okay.
only difference of the schools is where's the school located at. I was in Oklahoma. I was in East Texas. I was in San Antonio. I was in Houston. So to me, all the schools end up being the same. They got a dorm room. They got a cafeteria room. They got a facility. They got a weight room. But they all got the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It all matters on where's the school located at and who's working for the school. Those are the two main factors I try to tell recruits when I'm recruiting them. Everybody's going to have the same, and yeah, somebody might have a bigger weight room, somebody might have a bigger locker room, but all that's irrelevant at the end of the day. It looks great at the beginning, but at the end of the day, it's all the same. So I would say, where's the school located at, and who are the people that work for the school?
Good stuff, good stuff. And that leads right into that next job. And I believe that's the job you're at now. Talk about how that came about and why did you make that switch?
Well, I didn't make the switch willingly. I got let go. I
Yeah.
got fired. You can say fired or let go. It ends up being the same result. You don't have a job.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up happening. Our head coach left to go to another school. They let go of the defense, me and the defensive coordinator and a couple of the other guys. So we didn't have a job for about 2 months. I knew the head coach here, great guy. I got him, Clarence McKinney. He was at Power 5. He's like a Houston legend. I just shot him a text, said, hey, man, I'm looking for a job. You got something for me? Boom, he hires me right away. Been here for about a year, and I didn't know much about the SWAC schools. I didn't know much about Texas Southern. I didn't really know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since I got here, I've been very happy. Love the city, love the school. We got a chance to be good. And it was kind of the same deal. They won a couple games. They probably should have won a little bit more before I got here. And then last year we had one of our most successful seasons in a long time, and we should have won 7 games, won 5, and I think we have a chance to win more games this year with the same team coming back with the same mindset. So this school kind of goes into the same theme as all my other schools was. They had some talent before I got here, and then when I got here, we hired some good coaches, and we hired another guy that actually just left. But there was already good coaches on staff. I think I just brought a different value to it. And the head coach, to go back to your point, the head coach hired me to be myself, and he was not scared to hire me for who I am. And I always respect him for that. And he's the same tree that every head coach or everybody I work for, coordinator-wise, or whatever the case might be, they hired me because of me, and they didn't want me to change. That's the first thing you say when you hire me. Don't change. Be yourself. And I respected that.
Let me ask you this, Coach, because you got a few skins in the game. What's something different, whether it's mentally any other way? What's something different now than you were, let's say, 10 years ago?
Oh, what's different about me?
Yeah.
Oh, to be honest with you, I'm way more comfortable in my own skin. I'm not doing things to please people. I'm not doing things to make somebody else happy when maybe they're doing wrong. So I would say I'm a lot more mature,
Yeah.
a lot more. Can't say honest because I'm already honest, direct, and blunt. So all that's the same. But I think I just handled it a little bit different than I used to. And I just think I'm comfortable with my own skin, and I just learned to let go about other people's situations and scenarios of success. Because I said it again, and I think a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago on another podcast is, you look at other people and you see them have success, and you always question yourself, why can't I have what they got? I've learned that I don't care no more. I learned to be comfortable with my situation, and if God blesses me to be somewhere else or to be here for 10 more years, I'm okay with that. So I have just learned to be a lot more comfortable. Again, with my own skin, and that goes for every facet of my life, from relationships to friendships to um, my profession, everything. So and really, I'll probably say in the last year has been the most humbling it's probably been the best experience mentally.
Why so?
Why so?
Yeah.
Because I just told you I didn't have a job for 2 months.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was very big headed. I was very thought I was better than a lot of people. And then when I didn't have a job for 2 months, nobody reached out. Nobody offered me a job. So that humbles you. And I think I tweeted it a couple of weeks ago. Being humbled is a good thing. And I got humbled and I fell down and I got back up and I probably needed to fall down. I'll be honest with you. And really that last year was probably one of my better years of coaching and I didn't win a championship. To me, that shows it right there. That's growth because I won a lot of championships and last year I didn't win a championship.
Wow. Wow. 35 minutes in. Gonna give it wrap it up. A few more questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Coach, you get to you get to where you are now. HBCU is a lot of noise around that.
Yep.
How do you view this thing, Coach? I mean, I don't want to say it's a stepping stone job, but kind of what's your focus? What's your focus right now, man? I mean, HBCU is kind of getting popular, but as a coach right now, what's your focus right now?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. So I'll give you an example. I'm wearing this Chiefs shirt because I just got back from the gym. I just wearing the shirt. I did an internship with the Chiefs in 2017. So I had an interview with them last year, and I almost got the job, but I didn't get it.
You didn't tell me that. We got to chop all this stuff up. I love the little nuances. Now, talk a little bit about that.
In between the Commerce in 2016 and 17, I did 2 NFL internships, Bill Walsh internships, where they give minority opportunity to be in the NFL when sometimes they don't. In 2016, I did one with the Detroit Lions under Jim Caldwell, great head coach. Then I did one in 2017 with Andy Reid, clearly Patrick Mahomes' rookie season, Kansas City Chiefs. Great experience. So with that being said, I had an opportunity to interview with them last year. Almost got the job as a QC. The point that I'm going to make is that I didn't get the job, clearly, and I was okay with it because you said, what's your goal, what's your vision? I felt like at the time, and I still feel that right now, that my place right now is to help these young dudes or these young brothers at this university. That is right now, I think that's my calling. Now, of course, if somebody pays me $1 million tomorrow to go elsewhere, you already know the answer to that one. Like, same thing with Dion, same thing, everything. So those are already in it. Like, if my end goal is to be in the NFL, if I got a job to be in the NFL, yes, I'm going to take it. I love to take it. But the point that I'm making is that it's a Nipsey Hussle line. Like, I'm 10 toes down. So in these and like I said, in the last year, I'm spending all my time trying to get student athletes better. Everything else kind of goes to the wayside. It's kind of bad to say because you got your coaching, you got to fraternize, you got to rub shoulders with the right person to get the next job. I stopped doing all that because all that means nothing at the end of the day. Like, I know guys that do a bad job, get the best job. I know guys that do a great job, get the best job. But I know guys that do the best job, get the worst job. So there's no right or wrong way to do it or do whatever the case may be. But I think my calling right now is to be here and get these players better. And I got a text from one of my guys yesterday. He wrote this big old long thing about things I've been telling him for about a year now. And he's realizing it himself now. So I just think my calling right now is to be here to get these brothers right. And somebody's going to say, well, he meant brothers. Okay, I'll say to get these players right, student athletes. Yeah. That is my goal right now, and I take pride in that. I've been on the road recruiting, so I really haven't seen them or done anything. Yeah. So next week, we're going to go back to somewhat normal, and then we start building it for the next year.
I got a question on that, but I want to interject, go back a little bit. What was that NFL experience like getting it, even though it was the internship? But how was that like, and was it a big difference between the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs? Obviously, one is a winner, but
yeah, that's a great point. But at the time when I was with Jim Caldwell, they actually went to the playoffs that year.
Yeah, they did.
After that, and they ain't been good since, even though they had a really good season last year. What I learned from there is how to handle grown adults, how they operate. And I was really a fly on the wall. Probably for those 2 months that I was there on both teams, I didn't say damn near I said less than 20 words, and I'm a big talker, as you can see. I didn't say anything. So I soaked up every ounce of knowledge you can, from a coaching point to how they talk to people, how they operate, what the front office does. I mean, I sat in those meetings with those players, with those coaches every day. Like I was with Darius Slay, who's playing with the Eagles now. Great player, great kid. Marcus Peters at the Ravens. I sat in those meetings every day. And one of my good friends, Al Harris, who was coaching at the Chiefs at the time, he's with the Dallas Cowboys now. I just learned every ounce that you think you can learn, I learned. Doesn't matter what the phase is, just from waking up in the morning every day, eating breakfast. I learned everything there. And it was a great experience in my life. And I would love to do it again if I can.
What's the silly question? But what's the big difference, pros, college? Just from your time there to
Oh, I mean, it's real simple. People in the league know they can get cut at any given day. So your job's on the line single-handedly every day. In college, it's not like that. You have to be a little nicer. You got to kind of fake the funk a little bit. So you got to kind of play a different role in the league. There's none of that. It's strictly business. When they say business, they mean business. Relationships matter, but it's business. And I think probably college is probably going to that a little bit too now with like I said, the NLI deals and the money and the being exchanged. So college is going to that. It shouldn't be that way, but it is with the portal and all that stuff going crazy. But for the most part, you're just treated strictly business in the league. The good programs and the good teams that go every year, they make it relationship, then business. But for the most part, it's business.
Good stuff. Good stuff. 41 minutes in. Gonna wrap up in a second. So, Coach, you're secondary coach. What are you looking for in some of those recruits, some of those guys? What is it that you want to see from a guy to let you know, okay, I need to offer you, I need you on my team?
Yeah, I get the question. I think a lot of people like to pick people's brains about why they want to get it. I just got really two simple rules that are real simple. Like, how does the player move? I mean, clearly, is he fast? Does he have good agility? CO day we call change of direction. Like, there's so many things. How does he look moving, and how does he move, and do you have ball skills? Those are the main things I look for. Everything else, it is with a grain of salt. Like, if you got long arms, cool. If you don't, cool. But if you can communicate, number one, if you can hold a normal conversation and you enjoy having talks, like you can just talk about life or football, whatever the case may be, communicate, body movement, and ball skills. Everything else is, I mean, it's just fluff.
Mm-hmm. Do you got a certain area that you're mainly targeting as far as recruiting?
I've done Houston for a long time. I do the south side of Houston a little bit, and then I do north side Dallas. So I think as a recruiter, you got to naturally go everywhere. That's another myth too. When this coaches always say, well, you can't recruit Georgia, Tennessee, you can't recruit California. That's a lie, because a coach can coach anywhere if he's good. A coach can recruit anywhere if he's good. It's real simple. So that's another cliche in college. You're like, I want to get a guy that only knows this area. If you can have relationships, me and you are talking, we don't know each other. We've never met before in our life. So we didn't remember. The whole point is that if you can have communication skills and you can talk, or you got some charisma, or you got something with you, you can recruit any state, any player, any kid, any level. Does not matter. I know people say I got to have a guy in the area. That's a lie. So they're just telling you a reason why they can't hire you, to be honest with you.
Wow. 43 minutes in. Coach, let's end with this one. Give your younger self, and they really could be a younger person in the generation, but give your younger self some wisdom now that you would have needed then. What would that one thing be?
I would tell them, don't chase. Let it come to you in the profession. I would tell him to be more humble from the start. You can have confidence. I got that. But don't think, how would it work? Just know you're good enough, but you can lose it all really fast. So I would tell him to be humble a lot faster than I am now. Like, I'm in a better place now mentally, but I would tell him to be humble quicker. That's probably the main thing I would tell him, to be honest with you. And don't let the outside noise dictate your decisions. Oof, I can give that one. I might have to tweet that one. Don't let the outside noise dictate your decisions. And I think at one point in time, I made the outside. I let the outside noise dictate how I move.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Because that means nothing, and it can mess you up a little bit mentally because you're trying to be somebody that you're not. Mm-hmm. So I would take pride in that for sure.
Okay. 44 minutes in, Coach. That was a nice little episode right there. I mean, it was good. It was quick, but it was right to the point. secondary coach at Texas Southern. Coach, I'm gonna probably edit it a little bit, maybe post it today, some of it. Send me a few football pictures if you have it, man.
I will.
I'll be looking out for you because I know you're gonna continue to rise through the ranks, Coach. Well,
I appreciate it, but I'll send you a couple pictures, and then that way you can kind of, you guys are the professionals on your side. I don't know how to do all that stuff, so
yeah. Okay. Because I see you recruiting a little bit in Dallas too, man. If I'm not mistaken, so I'm gonna keep an eye on you, man.
We'll be in touch for sure. And then I sent you my number, but send me your number because I don't think you because I guess people don't use Zoom now. They use this.
Well, now some people do use Zoom. I don't use it. I will use Zoom if I have to. I was trained to use this, so it's kind of a common thing. I mean, a habit thing. Yep. But okay, Coach, man, I'm gonna get out of here, man, because I'm still at the office, man. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. Appreciate it, brother. What's up?
Before we wrap it up, I got to give 2 shout outs because these coaches are gonna be really mad at me. They're on my staff and they always get pissed at me. So you got to make sure you put this on the edit, put this in there. I'm really good friends and he's a really good guy. We call him Twin. His name is Jerwin Wilson. He's a Louisiana guy. He does everything, man. He's a great guy. And then the other guy who I'm trying to help right now, we're talking about give the version of your younger self. There's a guy on our staff right now, a guy named Nick Pierce. He's a young DB coach. I'm trying to get him right now. So when he hears that, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you shot me out," but I want him to be under me. So what you said about what would you tell the younger me, that's what I'm trying to tell him. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to give knowledge, like the same guys that I hire, I'm trying to give him knowledge on what I should have did early on.
Yeah, man. That album, I'm going to ask some more questions, but I'm going to go and shut it down, man. Okay, Coach. Hey, go ahead.
So we got all year. We can do it again later on.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I appreciate your time, Coach.
All right, boss man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir, brother. Take care.
All right.
Peace.